from London, England, where the Queen lives.
Recorded live from an underground bunker and packaged into an MP3 with a pretty little picture. Helping bring you the motivation, inspiration, and some other stuff to help kickstart your day. Hoo-yah! This is the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. And this is your host, Chris Jaggs.
Join the motivation. Join the motivation.
Good morning! Welcome to episode 28 of the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. My name is Chris Jaggs. I'm here for you 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We are back for another Monday and I'm here just for you. Now, over the last month or so, we've been talking about the whole process of launching your dream. And now you've got some work to do. There's some work to get yourself stuck into and start the process and get your plan off the ground. Whatever stage you're at after all of this, I'd still love to chat to you. Get yourself over to ldlcall.com, get yourself on the calendar. I want to hear about whatever it is you got going on and, well, let's just get it going and just put it out in the world. I know I can help you, but you need to help yourself to get yourself going. So I want to talk to you. Right then, let's have that drop and let's get this going.
If you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. It's the Learn, Develop, Live podcast.
Before we even get going with this week, I sent out a couple of SOS requests for anyone to drop the show a review on iTunes or anywhere else that you listen to, as the more reviews we get, the more it helps the podcast gain some more exposure and allow other great people like your good self to find the show. And there have been some reviews, so thank you. So my first shout out is to Warrior Spleen, which is definitely an interesting name. And the review says, listen to the daily podcast, gave me the confidence to do what I want when I want to do it instead of worrying about what everyone else and their thoughts and opinions. The joke box really makes my day. Thank you. Now, you really shouldn't care what others think or say about what you do. It's your life after all, isn't it? And it'll be you that has to deal with the aftermath of whatever happens. So if that supposed good old wise person gives you that golden piece of advice, you know, that they're swearing by and it goes wrong, who will be the one who's got to clear up the mess? Well, it won't be them, will it? I also love the joke box. I haven't recorded a new one for quite some time, so I really should look at getting that sorted. Thank you again to Warrior Spleen, and I hope your spleen's okay. Other review came from Ridiculosus Patronus 1. Again, what a name. And their review says, motivating and inspiring. Very easy to listen to. Look forward to more episodes. Ridiculoso Patronus 1, I thank you. It's really good to hear when someone else says that the podcast is easy to listen to, and I'm glad that's coming across, because that's the plan, week after week. So, okay, this week, I wanted to give you something a little bit different from the previous week, so it's a bit hardcore, and give you a couple of very short motivational stories. So yeah, all these are all motivational and inspirational in different ways, and hopefully you'll be able to take something from them. Maybe you'll take a lot or something small, but one of these stories should get you thinking about something afterwards. So I found these stories on livingfree.com, which is packed with advice and stories on both health and fitness, so go have a look. With the stories, I'm going to pick out some of the best ones and share the good word with you, because that is what the podcast is all about. So let's begin story time, shall we? Are we all sitting comfortably? Well, unless you're out running or driving, then in this case, keep pushing! Right then, first story. A 24-year-old man was looking out of the train's window and shouted, "Dad, look, the trees are going behind." The dad smiled, and a young couple sitting nearby looked at the 24-year-old's childish behaviour with pity. Suddenly, he exclaimed, "Dad, look, the clouds are running with us." The couple couldn't resist and said to the old man, "Why don't you take your son to see a good doctor?" The man smiled and said, "I did. I would just come back from the hospital. My son was blind from birth. He got his eyes today." Every single person on this planet has a story. Don't judge people before you truly know what the story is. The truth may well surprise you. So let's go to story number 2. A man's favourite donkey falls off a small cliff. He can't pull it out no matter how hard he tries. He therefore decides to bury it alive. A bit harsh, I know. Soil is poured onto the donkey from above. The donkey feels the load, shakes it off and steps on it. More soil is poured. It shakes it off, steps up. The more the load was poured, the higher it rose. By noon, the donkey was out and grazing in green pastures. Now, after much shaking off of problems and stepping up, learning from them, one will graze in green pastures, whether you're a donkey or not. Epic tale number 3 is next. Once upon a time, a daughter complained to her father that her life was miserable and that she didn't know how she was going to make it. She was tired of fighting and struggling all the time. It seemed just as one problem was solved, another one soon followed. Her father, a chef, took her to the kitchen. He filled 3 pots with water and placed each one on a high fire. Once the 3 pots began to boil, he placed potatoes in one pot, eggs in the second pot, and ground coffee beans in the third pot. He then let them sit and boil without saying a single word to his daughter. The daughter moaned and impatiently waited, wondering what he was doing. After 20 minutes, he turned off the burners. He took the potatoes out of the pot and placed them in a bowl. He pulled the boiled eggs out and placed them into a bowl. He then ladled the coffee out and placed it into a cup. Turned to her, he asked, "Daughter, what do you see?" "Potatoes, eggs and coffee," she replied. "Look closer," he said, and touched potatoes. She did, and noted they were soft. He then said, "Touch the egg and break it." After she pulled off the shell, she observed the hard-boiled egg. Finally, he asked her to sip the coffee. Its rich aroma brought a smile to her face. "Father, what does this mean?" she asked. He then explained that the potatoes, the eggs, the coffee beans had all faced the same adversity, the boiling water. However, each one reacted differently. The potato went in strong, hard and unrelenting, but in the boiling water it became soft and weak. The egg was fragile, with the thin outer shell protecting its liquid interior until it was put into the boiling water. Then inside, the egg became hard. However, the ground coffee beans were unique. After they were exposed to boiling water, they changed the water and created something new. "Which are you?" he asked his daughter. "When adversity knocks on your door, how do you respond? Are you a potato, an egg, or a coffee bean?" Moral: in life, things happen around us. Things happen to us. But the only thing that truly matters is what happens within us. Which one are you? Our next story is about ice cream. Is anyone excited about that? In the days when an ice cream sundae cost much less, a 10-year-old boy entered a hotel coffee shop and sat at the table. A waitress put a glass of water in front of him. "How much is an ice cream sundae?" 50 cents, replied the waitress. The little boy put his hand out and put it into his pocket and studied the number of coins he had. "How much is a dish of plain ice cream?" he inquired. Some people were now waiting for a table and the waitress was becoming a bit impatient. 35 cents, she said with a huff. The little boy again counted the coins. "I have the plain ice cream," he said. The waitress bought the ice cream, put the bill on the table and walked away. The boy finished the ice cream, paid the cashier and departed. The waitress came back. She began wiping down the table and then swallowed hard at what she saw. There, placed neatly beside the empty dish, were 15 cents. Her tip. Sometimes, you just don't know what people are trying to do behind the scenes. Our next story is about the value of money. Now, I'm not sure I've done this story before, as it sounds very familiar, but it's always worth mention. A popular speaker started off a seminar by holding up a $20 bill. A crowd of around 200 had gathered to hear him speak. He asked, Who would like this $20 bill? 200 hands went up. He said, I'm going to give this $20 to one of you. But first, let me do this. He crumbled the bill up. He then asked, who still wants it? All 200 hands were still raised. Well, he replied, what if I do this? Then he dropped the bill on the ground and stomped on it with his shoes. He then picked it up and showed it to the crowd. The bill was all crumpled and dirty. Now who still wants this? All the hands still went up. My friends, I have just showed you a very important lesson. No matter what I did to the money, you still want it because it did not decrease in value. Still worth $20. Many times in our lives, life crumples us down, grinds us up into the dirt. We make bad decisions, or we deal with poor circumstances. We feel worthless. But no matter what has happened or what will happen, you will never lose your value. You're special, so don't forget it. So that was all the stories for this week. I hope you got something from at least one of those stories. And we'll do some more in a couple because sometimes you just need a quote. You just need a single story. One piece of motivation or inspiration to really get you going. And that is why I'm here after all. Before I wrap this up, I still want to work with you. ldlcall.com is the place you can book your free 30-minute call and then we can talk about how we can make your world a better place. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? Oh, and again, if you can drop the podcast a 5-star rating too, that would be incredible. Right, keep safe, keep chasing your dream, and I will see you in the next one.
Goodbye.
What? It's over already?
All over.
Thank you for listening to the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. I hope you feel as warm, motivated, and fuzzy inside as I do. You can connect with Chris at LearnDevelopLive.com or on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
I won't say goodbye. I'll just say until we meet again.
Until next time, join the motivation. Motivation.